Welcome to Get Your FRQ On. This is the sixth and final video in the Conquer the AP Calculus AB exam series, a series of videos designed to help AP Calculus students prepare for and ultimately conquer the AP Calculus exam. This video focuses on what students can do to prepare themselves for the no calculator free response questions on the AP Calculus exam. Let's get started. The AP Calculus AB exam is a challenge, no doubt, but it's also an opportunity to demonstrate your hard work and understanding of a beautiful and powerful subject. This guide is designed to help you make the most of your study time, focus on what's important, and approach the exam with confidence. Remember, consistent effort and smart strategies will set you up for success. Section 2 of the AP Calculus AB exam contains 6 free response questions. The last 4 questions in this section are answered without the use of a calculator. You'll have 60 minutes to answer these 4 questions. It's recommended that you spend about 15 minutes on each question. These questions focus on your ability to find derivatives using various differentiation rules, evaluate definite integrals using the fundamental theorem of calculus and techniques like U substitution, solve differential equations using separation of variables, analyze functions, including intervals of increasing and decreasing behavior, concavity, and finding extrema, apply calculus concepts to solve problems involving rates of change, related rates, and accumulation, and interpret and justify your solutions using correct calculus principles. This section emphasizes your ability to perform calculus operations and manipulations by hand without relying on a calculator. Strong algebra skills are essential. Derivatives. Be fluent in applying the power rule, product rule, quotient rule, chain rule, and derivatives of trigonometric, exponential, and logarithmic functions. For integrals, know the fundamental theorem of calculus and be proficient in using U substitution. Know the antiderivatives of basic functions. For differential equations, practice solving separable differential equations, including finding particular solutions given initial conditions. For limits, while less frequent in free response questions, a strong understanding of limits is crucial for understanding derivatives and integrals. Simplifying expressions. Practice simplifying complex algebraic expressions, including those involving fractions, radicals, and exponents. Solving equations. Be able to solve algebraic equations, including polynomial, rational, and trigonometric equations without a calculator. Factoring. Be proficient in factoring polynomials. It is essential for simplifying expressions and solving equations. Provide a clear and detailed record of your solution process. Don't skip steps, even if they seem obvious. Use correct calculus notation throughout your solutions. For example, use Leibniz notation, that is dy over dx, or prime notation, f prime of x, for derivatives, and use integral notation with correct limits of integration. Explain your steps and justify your answers using calculus principles, theorems, and definitions. Pay close attention to what the question is asking. Identify the specific information or value that you need to find. Answer all parts of the question and ensure that your answer is in the correct form. If the question asks you to interpret your answer, do so clearly and in the context of the problem. Include units when appropriate. Support your answers with appropriate calculus principles, theorems, and definitions. For example, if you are finding a maximum value, show that the derivative is 0 and changes sign from positive to negative, or that the second derivative is negative. Clearly explain why your steps are valid and how they lead to the solution. If you use a theorem like the mean value theorem, verify that the conditions of the theorem are met. Spend approximately 15 minutes on each free response question. Keep track of your time and avoid spending too long on any one part of a question. If you get stuck, move on and come back to it later if you have time. The best way to prepare is to practice with released AP Calculus AB free response questions from the College Board website. Focus on the no calculator questions. In addition, review the scoring guidelines for those questions to understand how points are awarded and what constitutes a complete and correct answer. Find critical points by setting the first derivative equal to 0 and solving analytically. Determine intervals of increasing or decreasing behavior by analyzing the sign of the first derivative. Find points of inflection by setting the second derivative equal to 0 and solving analytically. Determine concavity by analyzing the sign of the second derivative. Set up definite integrals to find areas under curves, areas between curves, and volumes of solids of revolution. Evaluate integrals using the fundamental theorem of calculus and techniques like U substitution. Show the integral setup clearly, including limits of integration. Set up and solve related rates problems by differentiating equations and solving for the unknown rate. Use derivatives to find instantaneous rates of change. Solve separable differential equations by separating the variables and integrating both sides. Find particular solutions by applying initial conditions. Show the separation of variables step clearly. Use table data to approximate derivatives using a difference quotient and to approximate integrals using Riemann sums or the trapezoidal rule. Show the calculations that get you your answer. Provide exact answers unless the question specifies otherwise. Avoid rounding intermediate values. All work must be shown. Answers without supporting work will likely not receive full credit. Make sure to include units in your answers whenever appropriate. Trust your learning. You've put in the hard work throughout the year. Now it's time to show what you know. Good luck, and go conquer that exam.